minus 9 minutes. Minus 8 minutes. Minus 7 minutes. Minus 6 minutes. Minus 5 minutes. 3 minutes. T-minus 2 minutes. T-minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. Actually, not. Not today. In a few weeks, maybe. But welcome to the RP Show, everybody. A very special day because it's the next one. Hump Day episode of Canada's favorite daytime sports talk show is on the air. Yes, the Game Plus television network. Yes, Hour 2 across Nevada on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. But we are in Hour 1 here. Welcome. We do have one guest, and he's coming up in Hour 2. AJ Jakubec will be joining us from Ottawa, the voice of the CFL's Red Blacks and many teams out there, including the OHL 67s. He's an Edmonton guy by nature and a very close friend of mine. He's joining us to talk sports coming up in Hour 2. Where is my thing? Let's get down to business with the Quick Six Show topics. As you know, this particular segment goes by very fast. The first one. It's just you and me for the whole first hour. So I'm going to ask you, please, to help me out on the text line brought to you by our friends at Western Dodge, 902-518-3033. Again, I'm the Larry King of sports on Wednesdays at Hour 1. That's really all. Just taking your calls, taking your texts. And remember Larry King? He was my Gloria in Yonkers, New York. Hello. So good. I enjoyed it. So if anybody in Yonkers wants to text it, I have a feeling because we're across Canada today, we're going to be hearing from a lot of Canadians. So again, let's go across the tour of the National Hockey League from Wednesday night. Just some of the highlight games. Cole Perfetti tied the game with 39 seconds to go. Mark Scheifele scored 2 minutes into overtime, and the Winnipeg Jets rallied to beat the visiting Chicago Blackhawks 3-2 Wednesday. Leon Draisaitl scored twice and added 3 assists. Evan Bouchard scored a power play goal in overtime, and the Edmonton Oilers rallied from a 2-goal third-period deficit to beat the visiting Ottawa Senators 5-4. Sam Steele scored twice and added an assist as the visiting Dallas Stars won their franchise record 10th consecutive game, 6-1 in the Saddledome. Gary Bettman was there with some very encouraging things for the people of Calgary and Flames fans. I wouldn't mind getting into that as the program goes along. And Tage Thompson scored after being honored for helping the U.S. win an Olympic gold medal in hockey. Buffalo won its 4th straight game by beating Vegas 3-2. But I feel like, so those are just some of the games. I'll get into the Panthers stuff a little later on. They got bombed in New Jersey last night, 5-1, and that's pretty much the end of the line for them. I should tell you that we, along the way here in the Quick Six show topics, we do have some football. Look, I'm going to tell you, you know this. It's not a secret. Hockey's my number one sport, but it doesn't unite everybody the way football does. Everybody has an NFL team. Everybody knows all the stars in the league, and we have some significant NFL news to get to today. MLB, World Baseball Classic, NHL trade deadline stuff, which I'll probably get into here. Some Briar talk here in hour 1, college hoops in hour 2, and then the ever-popular randoms. But it's funny because a couple of things. I feel like the games are almost passé. We're sitting here counting down to Friday's trade deadline show, and I'll be in the National Hockey League. And I'll be honest with you, it's going to be perfect because we'll do all football on Friday. I'm kind of, there is no CFL news, but I'm holding whatever there is and a lot of the football talk until Thursday, Friday when Kevin the Medium joins us because he's more of a football guy. That's his thing. And Mike Davis will be joining us from the Vegas Nighthawks. But as far as the National Hockey League goes, there's a few things that I wanted to get to, not the least of which is my top 5, bottom 5. We took a couple of weeks off over the Olympic break. There were no games. So nothing really changed in the standings. But with these trades, those that have happened and those that are pending leading up to Friday, a lot's going down, and the top 5, bottom 5 are shifting mightily. I got a whole bunch of notes here. I can handle this on my own. Trust me, I can, but I would rather hear from you. 902-518-3033 on a couple of things. I mean, Scruffy loves the hot takes. You know, he always just pulls the pin and the stink bomb, lobs it, and then leaves. And he said how Stan Bowman's been a disaster as the general manager of the Oilers, and I'm still not sure that I can go along with that. I keep an eye very closely on the Edmonton Oilers. We have a lot of viewers up there, and let's think of this for 1 second. He got Connor McDavid signed to a mini extension of 2 years, both sides gambling on themselves. He got that done. They did go back to the Stanley Cup final in his first year, and they are in a playoff spot right now, 3rd in the Pacific Division. I mean, perilously clinging to a spot, but aren't they all? In that division and most divisions. I also want to say something, too. This is actually perfect for me to be just me and you, mano a mano here for all of hour 1. I was never the biggest Rasmus Anderson fan. I never really understood why he was all that. When Zadorov was there and Hanifin was there and Tanev were there, he wasn't better than any of those guys. When they all left, he became their best defenseman. But last night for Vegas, he was -1. He played 18 minutes. And it's just funny because I guess I'm going to jump to the trade deadline stuff right now. It is, we'll get to football after the break because I really am enjoying the football. It's delicious right now. But where is my trade deadline stuff? Well, Minnesota Wild filled a need at their weakest position ahead of the trade deadline, acquiring 6'6" center Michael McCarron from the Nashville Predators. The Wild sent a 2028 second-round draft pick to the Preds for the 30-year-old McCarron. Vegas Golden Knights general manager Kelly McCrimmon, our dear friend, announced that the team has acquired forward Cole Smith from the Nashville Predators in exchange for defenseman Christopher Setoff and a third-round pick in the 2028 NHL entry draft. So here's the thing. What did I tell you? And it's fun working now 5 seasons in NHL circles that are people that they just don't necessarily know what I know. And I knew Vegas was not going to stand pat. I knew that they weren't done, and they aren't done yet. But the trade that McCrimmon pulled off with the Nashville Predators to acquire Cole Smith, there was word, and I believe it to be true, Tampa Bay was looking at Smith. Tampa Bay is going to be active leading up to Friday's trade deadline. So it's getting exciting. That's how I said it's affecting our top 5, bottom 5, because some teams are waving the flag and they're dropping even further. Some are loading up and they're climbing even higher. It's a very exciting time. By the way, the Quick 6 Show Topics proudly brought to you by Neil Chark of Uniglobe Carefree Travel, the official travel partner of the RP Show. Whether it's team travel, sports getaways, business trips, or bucket list vacations, Neil and the team at Uniglobe Carefree Travel deliver expert planning, seamless service, and trusted experience every step of the way. At the RP Show, we're always on the move, and now we've partnered with a travel expert who ensures we and you get there right away. Planning your next trip? Connect with Neil at UniglobeCarefreeTravel.com. Please join us in welcoming Neil Chark and Uniglobe Carefree Travel to the show. The Quick 6 continues after this timeout. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus television network.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away. ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hold on tight, Moose Jaw. Professional bull riding is back. PBR Canada charges into the Temple Garden Center April 25th. See the toughest riders take on the rankest bulls in a night of non-stop, edgier seat action. Whether you're a diehard fan or brand new to PBR, this is one show you don't want to miss. Tickets are on sale now at sastix.ca or at the box office. But don't wait, they'll sell fast. Professional Bull Riding Canada in Moose Jaw.
Proudly presented by Papikassis Developments Limited.
21-time nominated Grammy Award winner Dwight Yoakam. Live in concert. June 24th, 7 p.m., Temple Garden Center. Dwight Yoakam. On sale now at sasktix.ca. Dwight Yoakam Live.
RP Show continues Canada-wide on Game Plus TV in 33 states. I asked you to get the text line humming. I guess you weren't listening. 902-518-3033. Now's the day. Now's the time. Wednesday's hour 1. I'm all alone here. And the text line is brought to you by Western Dodge. Drive with confidence. Shop Western Dodge. Financing, selection, and service you can count on. Before we do get to football, some leftovers from the opening segment. Thank you, Rich in Edmonton, for agreeing. Where the heck is he? He goes, I never understood the Rasmus Anderson hype either. His plus-minus the last couple of years was atrocious. And here's the thing. I see the numbers. Guys get paid on numbers. I get it. But I spent enough time in Calgary, watched him live in the Saddle Dome. I'm like, I don't get the hype on this guy. And clearly, I mean, Vegas acquired him, but they're not done because I don't think he's delivered what they thought he was going to be. Coach Matthew DeBuck's watching the program in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Hey, Coach. He says, I watched the tired and slow Florida Panthers last night. Not used to seeing that. Do the Habs go after Bob? Okay, so 1 second before we move on to football, which you'll like, Coach, the football. But here I'm getting a lot of Panthers fans writing me saying it's hard to watch these guys, and I get it. They got bombed last night 5-1. They lost at the Islanders the other night, a last-second loss. The only win they've had post-Olympics was against the Leafs, and everybody beats the Leafs. You can't even count that. But what I love about the Panthers is this. If you watch the game, Paul Maurice in the in-game interview, first period with Darren Pang, signaled out, Sergei Bobrovsky said he's the only guy playing well. After the game, first thing out of Paul Maurice's mouth was, Bob was great. Everybody else is struggling, and it just shows me whether they trade him or they don't, because I think they will have to wave the white flag after that game last night in New Jersey. Their whole season kind of hinged on it, and they got destroyed. Why the Panthers have been successful is what you just saw with Paul Maurice. It's a military strategy, and that's how they run it. Vincent Viola, their owner, is a West Point guy, just like Bill Foley in Vegas. No man gets left behind. Bob's struggling, we're going to prop him up. They may end up moving him, and I think that they probably will ahead of Friday's deadline. Does he go? I think he's going to end up in Vegas. Wouldn't that be something? That's with no prior knowledge, but just looking at teams that need the goalie, a general manager that knows how to wiggle these types of moves. And I'll say it again, no man gets left behind. Because I look at these other teams. Come on. Columbus won again. One of the few that I got right last night. I went 5 of 11. What are there, 12? The Columbus Blue Jackets are 12-2-1 since Rick Bowness took over. And the Winnipeg Jets, probably not going to make the playoffs. I mean, I don't want everybody in Winnipeg mad at me, but the truth hurts. They got to look at themselves and say, why have 2 quality coaches walked away from our organization? We thought Rick Bowness was retiring. And then he ends up in Columbus doing great things with the Jackets. Paul Maurice walked away, was prepared to never coach again. And all of a sudden, Bill Zito rings him up that summer after he resigned, and 2 Stanley Cup championships later. So I'm just saying, and I know what happened here in Florida. I know for a fact Vincent Viola sat down with his key people, because those key people told me and says, I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of this rink being empty. What do we need to do? What do I need to do as the owner to get better? I know one of the guys that was in that meeting, and they're like, oh, glad you asked. This, and this. And they did them all, and look where they are. And on the Bob thing, I mean, why I think there's an issue here, I heard on the radio in Miami yesterday driving around. There's been a lot of talk about the Panthers on sports radio here, which more than I've ever heard since I've been here, and it's been 5 years. $5 million is the figure that's being thrown out. That's what they said on the radio is the offer for Bob, and he's making 10. So you wonder why he might not be in a rush to sign what's being put in front of him. But it doesn't sound like a contentious negotiation from what I understand. That's what I hear. Anyways, thanks for the comments. Moving on, point 2. And did I tell you the text line? 902-518-3033 for Western Dodge. Whatever you want. I just want to know that it's working. Okay? Point 2, the Arizona Cardinals have informed 2-time Pro Bowl quarterback Connor Murray that they plan to release him at the beginning of the new league year on March 11th. Connor Murray, who was owed $36.8 million in guaranteed money this year, will be free to sign with any team once he's released. And elsewhere in the league, the Indianapolis Colts have placed a transition tag on quarterback Daniel Jones. The Colts opted to use the $37.8 million transition tag instead of the $43.9 million franchise tag. opening up the possibility that he could still leave without compensation for Indianapolis. So what we pride ourselves on here is talking about everything. And why do we do that? For the same reason that a dog licks his privates. Because we can. I don't want to know what Darren Dreger has to say about the NFL or CFL, and I don't care what Adam Schefter has to say about hockey, but we can talk about it all intelligently. So our poll question today for EMJ Marketing, by the way, expert voices, impactful messages, discover the perfect keynote speaker at EMJ Marketing. Go to emjmarketing.com for more information. Which of the soon-to-be available quarterbacks would you sign first of these four? Kyler Murray's been told he's on the outs in Arizona. Kirk Cousins been told he's going to be released by Atlanta. Geno Smith in Vegas, we're told, is going to be released by the Raiders. I'm not sure he's been told that yet. Let me just check what were our options? Kirk Cousins, Connor Murray. Oh, yeah, Tua here in Florida. Coach DeBuck, I want your opinion on this, too. Good morning, Jenna. Make yourself comfortable. Your Sabres won again last night over the Vegas Golden Knights. What the hell? Carlos in Indiana writes, and he says, I'd go with Kirk Cousins as a short-term option until I can find a quarterback of the future. Well, everybody's saying, whoa. Everybody's initially, the vote was saying Kyler Murray. But Jason in Red Deer writes, then he says, I'd sign Cousins before I sign Murray. Murray has the experience. It would probably cost significantly less than Cousins because he's near the end of his career. Well, we'll find out. Hang on, this ain't the Sabres show, which, by the way, I met your general manager the other night, Jarmo. He is a very impressive man. Jarmo Kekalainen, the general manager of the Buffalo Sabres. I met him for the first time. Thank you, Jeff Rimmer, for making that connection. I'm like, I see why this guy is all that. But anyways, I did 5 minutes research on this. Isn't this what NFL GMs do? Spend 5 minutes on this. Kirk Cousins is 37. Geno Smith is 35. And both Kyler and Tua are 28. So think of this for a second. There was a guy here, Joe Shad. He's just up the road from the Sun Sentinel newspaper. He tweeted some stats from a game between the Cardinals and the Dolphins from 5 years ago where Tua threw for 285, rushed for 60, Cotter threw for 300, rushed for over 100. And I'm like, well, number one, that was 5 years ago. And number two, you need to be able to do this consistently, game in and game out, not going back 5 years to find a great game. And the thing with Connor Murray, out of them all, just so you know, it's not the most tantalizing lot. But I'm going with Connor Murray. And the biggest problem with Connor Murray, and by the way, I've said many times on this show, I've spent a ton of time in Arizona, a lot of time around the Cardinals. The only thing with Connor Murray was a maturity issue. They were going to put into his contract that he had to limit his time playing video games, and they were considering putting into his contract mandating how many hours he was going to spend watching film and in his playbook. And if you have to do that, he's not your guy. And they finally made that decision, and he'll be on the free agent market next week. Wait a minute. So Coach DeBuck, he says, Connor Murray with the right coach has the most upside, most athletic. Oh, okay, I got you. He says, Tua, tout fini. Matt DeBuck is from Quebec. Verdun, Quebec. I had to correct his spelling on tout fini the other day. All finished. You know I know Francais. I was using it this morning. C'est bon. I went into the sauna. The maintenance guy at LA Fitness speaks French. He's from Haiti. I said, très chaud, très chaud. Very hot, very hot. But I say bon, c'est bon. Just très chaud. Jenna in Southern California says, you like that? Sure. But I think Kirk Cousins is tout fini, all finished. I'm with you, Coach. The one thing, Coach DeBuck has met me. I've said this to him how many times? 50 times? I said, you've met the better and improved me. Connor Murray could be that. I was immature. Kyler Murray's immature. This is after going into season 7 in Arizona. Kyler says, I finally feel ready to lead the Arizona Cardinals. That's what he said going into training. Great, Kyler. We've been waiting 6 years for that. Glad you're finally ready. He's just a big kid, that's all. And what does it take for you to mature and grow up? Several kicks in the teeth. This is the biggest one of Kyler's career. So at 28, as you say, financially the best deal, Kyler's your guy. Could be an NFL GM, clearly. Jason in Red Deer, I'm with you. He says, well, this is what he goes, Geno Smith is washed up and not very good. A lot of passes off the mark and not very smart at reading plays. This is wild, by the way. We started with NHL having a great chat. We'll go back to that, but the NFL has really got everybody going. And the thing is, it wouldn't matter who the quarterback was in Vegas. We watched the games. The offensive line is horrible. So I feel bad for Geno Smith. He's had a decent career. But let's just say you're the Minnesota Vikings and you got some money, or the Dallas Cowboys for that matter, who restructured the deal with Dak, which restructuring the deal is code for we screwed up. So there's like $46 million have come available on restructuring deals in Dallas, but we don't need, well, it's not we, but they'll always be my team. They got to go after Trey Hendrickson. That's what they got to do. Former FAU star, and fix the defense. But again, in Vegas, it wouldn't have mattered, and I feel bad for Fernando Mendoza because he's going to be the guy as long as he's able to survive year 1 and 2. I hope they rebuild the offensive line. Brent in Saskatoon writes in, he says, you nailed it, Rod. Kyler could be good if he'd ever grow up a bit. Cousins is still playing good football. Short-term answer, this isn't a good year to draft a quarterback. No, and this is what I'm doing. If like Kirk Cousins lost the starter's job in Atlanta, he's not even a starter entering the market. If I'm Minnesota, there's our teams looking for quarterbacks. You got a hopefully healthy J.J. McCarthy. You're going to bring in, let's say, Kyler Murray, which apparently there's 2 teams that Kyler Murray wants to go to. That's what his agent said, but they're not making public what those are. One of them is believed to be Minnesota. Bring in Kyler Murray. Have an open competition in training camp. Don't anoint one your starter. You don't have to. Some coaching staffs do that. Some don't. I've seen it work both ways. That's what I would do in Minnesota. Jenna in Southern California says, I think the better deal would be to go get a different quarterback. Dallas Cowboy. Oh, okay. Jenna, we're not allowed to say that. You're a member of Cowboys Nation just like me. Can't criticize Dak. Oh, my God. That's not just with the football team itself, but with the fan base, too. Coach DeBuck, one more. He says, what CFL quarterback is in a similar situation as these 3 NFL quarterbacks? What CFL quarterback is in I don't know. McLeod Bethel Thompson. Macbeth. But that's what I said. We're going to push more football to Thursday and Friday when Kevin the Medium joins us. That's really in his wheelhouse more than anything. I would say it's Macbeth. Okay, thank you all for checking in. As I say, wanted to make sure that the Western Dodge text line was working, and it is 902-518-3033. Rob in the Queen City writes that he says Kyler Murray is injury prone and is nothing but a backup. He'd look good in the CFL, though. Yes, he would. But I don't think...
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away. ultimatefanzone.ca or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hold on tight, Moose Jaw. Professional bull riding is back. PBR Canada charges into the Temple Garden Centre April 25th. See the toughest riders take on the rankest bulls in a night of non-stop, edgier seat action. Whether you're a diehard fan or brand new to PBR, this is one show you don't want to miss. Tickets are on sale now at sastix.ca or at the box office. But don't wait, they'll sell fast. Professional Bull Riding Canada in Moose Jaw.
Proudly presented by Pedersen Developments Limited.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina. This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
All right, took a while, but we got the comments gushing in now. I should tell you that our presenting guest sponsor is Prairie Panels. They're a Saskatchewan-based company specializing in high-quality construction panels and engineered building solutions, whether it's for agricultural buildings, shop construction, or commercial projects. Prairie Panels brings innovative, durable products backed by local expertise. Check out what they're all about, prairiepanels.ca. Big thanks to Prairie Panels for supporting the RP show and helping bring you great guests and great conversation every day. AJ Jakubec joins us in hour 2. He's the guest from TSN Ottawa. Okay, as I say, wonderful conversation here. I appreciate Mark from Melfort informing us that Tyler Myers has been moved from the Vancouver Canucks. I want to say his nickname from Kevin the Medium and the Hughes Sports Podcast, I think they call him Chaos Giraffe. He's 6'8". He's 1,100 plus games in the NHL, Tyler Myers. He's so old. How old is he, Rod? He was playing in the Dub when Rod was calling games with the Kelowna Rockets. He's been around a long time. I'm excited for Tyler Myers to see what he can do, get out of Vancouver, and the Dallas Stars. Spoiler alert, by the way, they are my number one team in the NHL right now, top 5, bottom 5. 10 wins in a row for the Dallas Stars, and they've just acquired Tyler Myers. I think he'll help. Don't get mired down in players with bad team. Connor Murray is a great example. Luke Schenn comes to mind, a guy that's won Stanley Cups. He's struggled in Vancouver. I think he's been okay for Winnipeg. But anyways, let me back this up. In terms of the comments from everybody here. We're talking about, well, for those that just showed up, the poll question is, which of these 4 soon-to-be free quarterbacks, soon-to-be available quarterbacks, we'll say, because as my lawyer always says, I'm available, but I'm not free. Kyler Murray, Kirk Cousins, Tua, or Geno Smith. And Kyler Murray needs a win. He's got a win of our poll. Everybody's saying, yeah, it's Kyler Murray would be the one that you would sign. He's the youngest. He's got the best upside and the best price tag. And maybe it's an Arizona thing. The team that's never won a Super Bowl, the team that can't get out of its own way. I mean, let's remember, we're going by media reports. Well, in most cases, that he had to be asked to put the work in to study the playbook and watch film. He had to be asked to cut down the video games. Anyways, he's so somebody said that he would be great in the CFL. Maybe he would come up here. I would say, I don't say no to that ever. As a guy that's broadcast games in the CFL, in games that have included Johnny Manziel, Ocho Cinco, Ricky Williams. I called the game when he broke his arm on the turf at Taylor Field. Way to go, Mike McCullough, my financial planner. Broke Ricky Williams' arm, ended his career. My financial planner. Anyways, would Kyler Murray come to the CFL? Not immediately. He's probably going to Minnesota. But Scott in Vancouver writes in and he says, similar size to Flutie? Well, we've got Coach Matt DeBuck watching right now. He played with Flutie. He won a Grey Cup with Flutie in Toronto. Flutie is listed at 5'9", and I believe he is a legit 5'9", because I've stood beside him. I have not stood beside Kyler Murray, but he's listed at 5'10". So, yes, similar, but Kyler Murray is an inch taller. Arlen Bruce checking in today. I love that our little RP show family showed up on a day where I'm going solo style. Larry King style. Arlen Bruce in Olathe, Kansas. Hello. Great day, RP. Isn't Kyler Murray a baseball player? He seems uninterested in football, in my opinion. Kirk Cousins, you like that? Cousins is a leader and a vet. Oh, okay. I'm not sure there's a wrong answer to this. But AB, let's be honest. You and I both, there was a day we both had a little growing up to do. And there were people that gave us the chance to do that. I'd like to see the Minnesota Vikings be the team, or some team will give Kyler Murray that opportunity to lead. Just wasn't happening in Arizona, but just as I've pointed out, it hadn't happened for anybody in Arizona ever. Kurt Warner couldn't win a Super Bowl with them, although he did get him to a Super Bowl. Oh, boy, don't start. Scott in Vancouver says Montreal strip clubs didn't help Johnny football. That was Johnny's fault, not the strip clubs. We do have the top 5, bottom 5 coming up. 902-518-3033. Wayne in Victoria, BC writes in. He says, quarterbacks are the most important position in football, obviously, but even great quarterbacks can't win if the rest of the team around them isn't good. Of course not. But it's a start. And that's... I got to be careful here because we're on the air in Vegas. I don't want to dump on the Raiders. Although one thing that I've realized with Silver State Sports, and they launched their brand new live show this week, they don't talk a lot of Golden Knights there. They talk a lot of Raiders. That's the one thing the NFL, look at the Dolphins. They still talk about the 1972 team around here. Pretty much every day it comes up. I'm like, guys, it's been 54 years. But what else are they going to talk about? Bob in Medicine Hat writes in, good morning, Rod. Bob from Medicine Hat again. You said get the text line going. Have a great day. Your show is the greatest. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bob. And the reason I pass along his messages every day, there's a few reasons. Makes us look good. But number two, it's not that hard to pick up the phone and send an encouraging word to somebody. But it's so bloody rare. I was talking with Moose this morning. I'm like, everybody is at war. Just can we pause this for 1 second? I talked about it the other day in my commentary. Linda Cohn and Keith Olbermann for the U.S. sports fans. Mark Spechner of Sportsnet Edmonton has blocked Ryan Whitney of Spittin' Chicklets. Adam Schefter and my guy Mike Florio are having a Twitter fight today. Tim Peel, the former NHL referee, and Jason Greger of Sports 1440 Edmonton, like probably the nastiest feud. Everybody's fighting. It's disgusting. And to be honest with you, this isn't the hypocritical thing. I never got into Twitter wars. My war was very openly with Bo Levi Mitchell of the Calgary Stampeders in the CFL, but that was more of a rivalry thing. I don't know the guy. But is that what it is? Is that what people want? Because, listen, I could start a war right now if you want. It's horrible. So anyways, Bob is here every day saying how much he loves the show. I'm going to pass that along. Why the hell wouldn't I? How are we doing for time, Producer Corey? Producer Corey? He's there somewhere. Jeff the Stamps fan says the internet has made us hate each other. Toronto says social media has screwed things up. 2 minutes, Producer Corey says. Thank you. John Ohm says, I agree, Rod. Reach out to others. Just say hi. Thinking of you. It's amazing what it does. When I got into recovery 11 years ago, I started doing that. Sending a note to 3 people a day. Exactly that. It was a good thing. And I'll tell you something. The other day, I was walking out of the rink in Sunrise, Florida, and the security guard, the head of security, I believe, with the Florida Panthers. I don't want to say his name if I have his title wrong. He was a very official-looking guy, let's put it this way. And he stopped me and he goes, can I ask you a question on your way out of the rink? I said, yeah. He goes, you're always so upbeat and so positive and so happy. Has it always been that way? And I said, no, not at all. That comes with 11 years of sobriety, in recovery, coaching people, mental health and addiction recovery, a lot of military and soldiers with that, and looking for the good every day in things rather than looking for the bad. That's where that comes from. And he goes, that's the perfect answer. Thank you. Have a good night. And I'm like, well, it's not the perfect answer. It's my answer. That's the truth. So anyways, I'm just seeing all these wars and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be in it. There's people trying to drag me into it. And I'm like, nope. No. I said, no from me, dog. Anyways, we have a lot to get to. Back on track with sports when we return. We are broadcasting live across Canada and 33 states on the Game Plus television network, YouTube Live, podcast, and of course, WQVZ Radio. Let's not forget them. And you can always reach us here at 902-518-3033 in the Western Dodge text line. Be right back.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, now this is going by way too fast, but Hour 1 is brought to you in part by Outlaw Communications and my dog, Tony Plater, where creativity is a way of life, specializing in strategic communications, leadership training, and clear conversational content that motivates your audience. Check him out at tonyplater.com. That's Plater with a Y in there. We do the Junior Hockey Report daily for the Mad Greek. Nolan Paquette's 7th goal of the season proved to be the winner as the Moose Jaw Warriors doubled the Calgary Hip in 4-2 at the Rempel Temple Tuesday night. Warriors are on the road to Saskatoon Friday and then host Lethbridge Saturday night. That's a great chance for you to check out the Mad Greek. The Warriors and Red Deer Rebels gaining ground on the Regina Pats, who lost 11-2 to Medicine Hat Tuesday night. I had friends that were there. They said it was bad. Oh, but this one warmed my heart. Still with the Hockey Report, Moose Jaws, Doug Smale, Eddie Stanowski, and Jim Large will be inducted into the Ted Knight Saskatchewan Hockey Hall of Fame later this year with a dinner and ceremonies at the Rempel Temple in June. Smale and Stanowski grew up playing in Moose Jaw, both going on to careers in the National Hockey League. Heads up, Wendy, at the Hockey Hall of Fame, Saskatchewan Hockey Hall of Fame. She watches every day, don't you, Wendy? Can't wait to see you this summer. Sports Update is brought to you by our friends at the Mad Greek. Are you craving the famous Greek ribs everyone in Moose Jaw is talking about? Get yours today at the Mad Greek Eatery. Open until 11 p.m. Let me get some of these sports things out of the way before I delve back into your comments, because, frankly, that's more fun. It's only point 3 of the Quick Six show topics. Riley Tarata hit a 3-run homer in the 8th inning as the Toronto Blue Jays defeated Canada's national baseball team 10-7 in an exhibition game in Dunedin. It was the first of Canada's 2 games against Major League Baseball opposition as they prepare for the upcoming World Baseball Classic. Kevin Gausman pitched 2 scoreless innings for the Jays. Meanwhile, San Francisco Giants ace Logan Webb will start on the mound for Team USA in its first World Baseball Classic game Friday night against Brazil. Manager Mark DeRosa says reigning AL Cy Young Award winner Tarek Skubal is expected to start Saturday against Britain. I'm just getting all these things out of the way here. Point 5. Defending champion Brad Jacobs, Brad Gushue of Newfoundland Labrador, and Alberta's Kevin Cooey all take a 5-0 record into today's action at the Montana's Brier in St. John's. Jacobs and Gushue are scheduled to meet tomorrow. The top 3 teams from the 2 round-robin pools qualify for the weekend playoffs. Enough free advertising for Montana's. We're brought to you in part by our friends at Pump Jacks Steakhouse and Saloon. You want to go somewhere for lunch? Make it Pump Jacks Cathedral, Pump Jacks Weyburn. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. And they bring you our picks daily with whatever sport is going on. National Hockey League, NFL. I'm not going to make curling picks. My God, you think my hockey picks are bad? I was 5 of 11 last night. 902-518-3033. Vintage Sasko writes in, formerly Fake Gainer. He says, yo, Rodfather, mad props to producer Corey. Hashtag positivity. You ever been called positive, Corey? David number 2 in Winnipeg writes in, and he says, has anybody mentioned Kyler Murray to Vegas? Who is their quarterback supposed to be going into training camp? It's going to be Fernando Mendoza. And they're already polishing the plaque as the next one over his stall. Fernando Mendoza will be the number 1 overall pick, owned by the Las Vegas Raiders, and he's the guy. So, no, they'll be treating Fernando Mendoza like the Blackhawks treat Connor Bedard, or the San Jose Sharks treat Macklin Celebrini, the next one. They don't need any or want any competition. That's why they're saying that Geno Smith, while it has not been announced, or he's probably not even been told yet, but Geno Smith will be released in Vegas leading up to the start of the business year next week. Jay writes in, he says, yes, Tyler Myers traded to Dallas. We talked about that earlier. I appreciate that. A second and a fourth going the other way, plus 50% retention. We're working our way towards Friday's NHL trade deadline. So as I was mentioning earlier, I think it's 1,123 games for Tyler Myers. I always liked the guy, going back to his days in junior. My God, it was almost 20 years ago that he was playing for the Kelowna Rockets when I was calling the games. And 6'8", just a change of I liked him with the Jets. Let's see what he can do in Dallas, the hottest team in the National Hockey League as it stands today. 902-518-3033. Keep those comments coming in, by the way. Okay. Just one more. Wayne on that. Wayne in Victoria, BC writes in. He says, hey, Rod, you just explained why you're always positive and upbeat. Now I know why. When I first met you, I thought you were actually nicer in person than on TV. LOL. Yeah, don't tell anybody that I'm that nice. It's bad for business. Ted in Red Deer watching, he says, Fernando Mania, full on for long-suffering Raiders fans. Here's the thing about that. God bless them and God bless him. You know, I think he's got the mettle to be able to do it and withstand that. It reminds me of when Bedard was coming up. Frankly, it's the one thing that I know the best. Hockey, specifically junior hockey, and closely behind that, pro hockey. And there were people, because I was calling him the Holy Child. I broadcast his first 2 goals in junior. I was doing the game. And people were like, can you tone down the Bedard hype? I'm like, he can handle it. He'll be fine. And he was fine. And is fine. Because he's got the mettle and the makeup to handle it. Fernando Mendoza, I believe, will be the same way. If Coach DeBuck, if you're still watching, as you know, he's from Miami. Fernando Mendoza, reigning national champion of college football. His dad's the head of medicine at Baptist Health, chain of hospitals around here. Mature kid, smart. Yeah, there's a lot of expectations on him going into Vegas, but that's the same with any number one overall pick. So good. I think it's great for Raiders fans to have something to be excited about, for the love of God. Roger. God bless you, Roger. He's watching in Winnipeg. He writes in on the Western Dodge text line 902-518-3033. He says, who's the favorite team to win the Grey Cup in 2026? Well, according to TSN, it's the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And according to Bet99, it's the Montreal Alouettes. So again, I got my eye on everything. And I guess it'll be on college basketball. Not that I have anything against it, but don't expect any otherworldly analysis from the RP show, because in one vein, I kind of had a problem with the fact that nobody pays attention in my world for 11 months until March Madness. All of a sudden, everybody's experts. But that's okay. I only pay attention to curling come Season of Champions time. I keep an eye on the Blue Jays, whether they're winning or losing, but I don't watch the games until playoff time, whether they're good or not. So I get it. There are a couple notes I wanted to mention because I don't know if we'll get to them in an hour or two, although we probably will. We'll see. I'm in charge here after all. I wanted to make this point. Scruffy said yesterday that Brad Treliving has ruined the Flames and the Leafs. I don't agree. Talking earlier about all the wars that are going on social media. What makes shows great, what used to make shows great, was that you could have a debate and not yell and get personal and all that. Scruffy and I can still do that. Brad Treliving did not ruin the Leafs and the Flames. He just didn't save them. Okay? They hadn't won anything for years in both places before Brad Treliving got there, and they're not now. Okay? So there ain't a GM alive that would have been able to keep Johnny Gaudreau and Matthew Tkachuk in Calgary. It wasn't happening. And by the way, there hasn't been a general manager since 1967 that's been able to make the Leafs win a Stanley Cup or even get to a Stanley Cup final. Not in my lifetime. And please, can the older viewers help me out with this? Who was the general manager? The coach was Punch Imlach. Was he the general manager too? Just saying. I like Brad Treliving. It's just a personal peeve of mine when guys get brought into historically struggling franchises. Now, hey, I get it with the Leafs. They have the longest playoff streak in the NHL currently. How about that? With 9 years, but it's going to end this year. Again, he didn't ruin them. He just didn't save them as he was hired to do. Regarding Fernando Mania in Vegas, Rich writes in, he says, as a Raiders fan, I was also optimistic when Jamarcus Russell was drafted. Says he's still scarred from that fiasco. But that's kind of Jamarcus Russell's fault, isn't it? Wasn't exactly a specimen. But again, we don't know. Now this is going to have to carry over into next hour because people are talking about Kyler Murray's arm strength, talking about his legs. Yeah, he's all that. But there's a lot more goes into it than that. And these football people should know that. And not everybody is Peyton Manning. Not everybody is Tom Brady. Okay, this is fun. We'll continue this after the break. And AJ Jakubec will be joining us, our Prairie Panels guest today from TSN, Ottawa. We'll be back in a moment. 902-518-3033. Get those texts coming for Western Dodge, and we'll be back in a flash here on the Game Plus Television Network, YouTube Live, podcast, and WQVZ Radio.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
All right, saddle up. Let's go. That includes buckle up for the host. It's that kind of day. Welcome to the RP Show, everybody. Welcoming viewers across Nevada on the Silver State Sports Entertainment Network. And, of course, hello again to those across Canada peering in on Game Plus television in 33 U.S. states. We have breaking news on this Wednesday and a whole lot of things that I want to get to before we welcome in our friend AJ Jakubec from TSN Ottawa. He's today's guest, brought to you by Prairie Panels. Check out what they're all about at prairiepanels.ca. The breaking news of which I speak. I'm reading this verbatim from TSN. The Tyler Myers trade saga has come to an end. The Vancouver Canucks are trading the veteran defenseman to the Dallas Stars for a second-round pick in 2027 and a fourth-round pick in 2029. The Canucks will also retain 50% of Myers' $3 million cap hit through next season. 6'8" defenseman. He's played over 1,100 games in the National Hockey League, so the Dallas Stars are getting into it. Everybody's getting into it, and I guess now would be a good time. Let's get into it with the Quick Six show topics. That's the breaking news. From on the ice, Tuesday night in the NHL, Tage Thompson scored after being honored for helping the U.S. win an Olympic gold medal in hockey. And the Buffalo Sabres won their fourth straight game by beating the Vegas Golden Knights 3-2 last night. Did you watch it? Tage Thompson wasn't the only one honored. Jack Eichel and Noah Hanifin were as well from the visiting Golden Knights. Pavel Dorofeyev with his team-leading 29th goal, and Ivan Barbashev scored in Vegas matched a season low by losing 3 straight in regulation. The slumping Golden Knights also dropped to 4-8-2 in their past 14 games. I sucked last night in my picks, 5 of 11. I'm going to give myself a little bit of a break on that because this is an historic year for 1-goal games in the National Hockey League. And I feel like this is going to roll over right into the Stanley Cup playoffs, even getting to the playoff line and then into the playoffs. Upsets, it's just never been this tight. It's very hard to pick games. And I guess while we're sitting here, I was mentioning this last hour, but for the benefit of those that weren't watching, I never got the hype in Calgary with Rasmus Anderson. And now I understand the Flames dealt him to the Vegas Golden Knights as the Flames waved the white flag long ago. Well, they knew that they weren't going to sign him. Whether they were good this year or not, he wasn't coming back. We've known that for a couple of years. But he hasn't been all that in Vegas. That's why I don't understand. Wasn't his biggest fan in Calgary. And then last night in Buffalo, he was -1, played 18 minutes. And I would suggest the Golden Knights are seeing the same thing because General Manager Kelly McCrimmon announcing on Tuesday the team has acquired forward Cole Smith from the Nashville Predators in exchange for defenseman Christopher Setoff and a 3rd-round pick in the 2028 NHL entry draft. And I guess as I sit here, as the arms race picks up steam, the Minnesota Wild filled the need at their weakest position ahead of Friday's NHL trade deadline, acquiring 6'6" center Michael McCarron from the Nashville Predators. The Wild sending a 2028 second-round draft pick to the Preds for the 30-year-old. And if the insiders are to be believed, some are, some aren't. I believe the Elliot Friedmans, the Darren Dragers of the world, and those guys that the Tampa Bay Lightning were in on trying to get Cole Smith out of Nashville. So Vegas making their moves. That's what Kelly McCrimmon does. They'll be there in the end. Tonight in the National Hockey League, there are 5 games, and we'll make our picks a little later on for Pump Jack Steakhouse and Saloon. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. I'm kind of jumping around here because my script is a mismatch. We got a whole bunch of new sponsors, and the Quick 6 show topics are brought to you by Neil Chark of Uniglobe Carefree Travel as the official travel partner of the RP Show. We're excited about this for a few reasons, not only because we're bringing on new partners, but the vaunted RP Show sports trip. I've been hosting this for years. 60-some viewers jump on a plane and we go somewhere. And I've taken these trips all over. Tampa Bay, Miami, Dallas, Phoenix, LA, San Diego. We kind of like the sun. Whether it's team travel, sports getaways, business trips, or bucket list vacations, Neil and the team at Uniglobe Carefree Travel deliver expert planning, seamless service, and trusted experience every step of the way. So stay tuned for news and thoughts on the RP Show sports trip getaway. Planning your next trip. Don't wait till then. Connect with Neil at UniglobeCarefreeTravel.com. Please join us in welcoming Neil Chark and Uniglobe Carefree Travel to the show. Frankly, because I'm not that big on traveling, I'm old. Come down to Florida. Let's do that. Let's load up a plane. Come on down. There's more than enough sports here. Point 2 of the Quick 6 show topics has to do with the National Football League. Trust me, we're not done with hockey yet, but big news out of the NFL in a lot of places. The Arizona Cardinals have informed 2-time Pro Bowl quarterback Kyler Murray that they plan to release him at the beginning of the new league year next week, March 11th. Kyler, who is owed $36.8 million in guaranteed money in 2026, will be free to sign with any team once he's released. So the poll question today is for EMJ Marketing, as it is every day. From impactful speakers to strategic marketing, EMJ Marketing is your all-in-one solution. Visit them at emjmarketing.com. Which one of these soon-to-be-available quarterbacks would you sign first? Kirk Cousins, Kyler Murray, Tua Tagovailoa, or Geno Smith? And to be honest, with the Canadian viewers on Game Plus TV, with us in the throes of NHL trade deadline frenzy activity, this is the topic that got everybody talking the most. I should have known. And the last I looked, Kyler Murray was leading the poll. Is he still? Kyler Murray. That's the guy. That's who I'm voting for. I mean, listen, years ago, my mentor in this perilous trade, Jeff Currier, said to me, he said, the NFL is like a Mercedes car lot. And we bump that up a little bit to a Lamborghini car, a Ferrari car lot, all top of the line. And he said the CFL lot, car lot, is the used lot. You know, one vehicle's got 250,000 miles on it. This one's got a ding in the back fender. This one, you know what I mean? The heat doesn't work in this, but we'll give you a deal. All these. Kirk Cousins has 250,000 miles on him, right? Kyler Murray has a dent in both back fenders. Like, it's the way it is. But of them all, I did my 5 minutes research on this. Kirk Cousins is 37 years old. Geno Smith, soon to be released in Vegas, we believe, that's the word, is 35. Tua Tagovailoa and Kyler Murray are both 28. And I don't want to repeat what I said an hour ago because there's a lot of people who were watching an hour ago. That would be unfair to them. But would you say these guys have underachieved? I would not. Kirk Cousins has had a pretty good career, led teams to the playoffs. Geno Smith, you can say the same thing. Tua's taken the Dolphins to the playoffs but never won a game. But he's hurt. We're just waiting. Have they announced Tua's done yet in Miami? Like, it's any minute. And I'm not sure anybody's going to sign him because I don't even know this is fair. Any doctors out there? I feel like my image of Tua is him being stretchered off the field when his fingers were cramping like this and he was concussed. I'm like, what? I don't know. Do you recover from that? The knock with Kyler, his injuries aren't that. He's had the soft tissue injuries and that sort of thing, but they said the knock on Kyler Murray is maturity. That's all. We all know he's got the tools. And again, for those of us that took a little longer to grow up than others, you know what makes that happen? You know what expedites the process? Kicks in the teeth. This is a big one for Kyler. So I'm not sure with whoever gets him, and the odds on they're saying Minnesota. He's got a list of where he wants to go, and Minnesota's apparently on it. He would be my guy. Ted in Red Deer writes in, he says, getting released isn't nice for anyone, but getting released with a $38 million check has to ease the angst. Sure. And Ted, you know athletes. I know you. I've met you at Century Downs Casino in Calgary. As Kelly McCrimmon said here a couple weeks ago, the general manager of the Golden Knights, if you can just take money out of it, there's still the piece of pride, ego, self-respect for these guys, that whole, I don't need it. I don't want it to end this way. And for Cotter to only be 28, he's not done playing in the NFL. Tua might be, okay? And Kirk Cousins, if he still wants to play at 37, and I don't know why he wouldn't, he hasn't added a lot of miles the last couple of years. I think all these guys will be in the NFL in 2026. The question is where. As I said, 902-518-3033. Some thoughts. Whoa, just open the text line here. Okay. Thank you. We have some new viewers. How about that? Ross is watching in Humboldt. Hey, Ross, one of my favorite towns. He's answering a question that I had in hour one because our Monday, Tuesday co-host Scruffy said that Brad Treliving has ruined the Leafs and the Flames. And I'm like, I'm not prepared to say that. They weren't winning before he got there, not cups. So he didn't ruin them. He just didn't save them. And I said, nobody has been the hero as GM of the Leafs since 1967. And I said, Punch Imlach, as I recall, was the coach, he's the GM too, and everybody has rallied here. Ross in Humboldt says, long-suffering Leaf fan, yes, Punch Imlach was the GM and coach. Bill in Brantford, Ontario, the home of Wayne Gretzky, writes in, and he says, yes, Rod, Punch Imlach was coach and GM. last time the Leafs won the cup. Wilfin Steinbach, Manitoba writes in, hi, Rod. Punch was hired as Leafs GM, then named himself coach and GM. That happens. So thank you. So what the point is, you guys are a bright crew. It's been a long list of guys that have been hired to save the Toronto Maple Leafs. Brad Treliving is just the latest one who hasn't been able to do it. Now, if their 9-year playoff streak ends, it's going to be tough times for Brad Treliving. Yes, Carlos in Indiana, it is 1:11 Eastern for the live audience. 11:11 Mountain too. If you're going to overthink positive. And we did talk about that briefly last hour. I don't know. I see it differently than everybody else. I'm in a different chair than everybody else. I'm here. You're there. Do you find it entertaining, these wars on social media? Keith Olbermann, Linda Cohn, Adam Schefter, my guy Mike Florio, former NHL referee Tim Peel, Edmonton Sports Radio's Jason Greger. There's some just nasty, I'm seeing some stuff there's stuff being said you don't come back from. Do you find that entertaining? Because I don't. In a way, I feel like I'm missing a whole lot of stuff because I'm staying off social media. On the other side, I'm like, I'm not missing anything. But that's just me. Brent in the Bridge City writes in, he says, Tua could end up being a backup somewhere. He's going to have to. He's going to have to. Maybe all these guys are going to have to. I'll say it again. In the case of Kyler Murray, he will play somewhere. And if it's Minnesota and I'm the Vikings, I'm bringing him in and having an open competition in training camp with him and J.J. McCarthy. May the best man win. A lot of teams do that. And some teams like to anoint their starter in the offseason too. I've seen it work both ways. I've seen it go poorly both ways. Ted says, I agree, Rod. I'd love to see Kyler and Minnie with KOC, Kevin O'Connell, and see if we can't Sam Darnold make over Kyler. Jeff in Toronto says, social media has turned into a poop fest of opinions. Smart man, Rod. I wouldn't say I'm smart, but I can tell you that my life is a whole hell of a lot more peaceful since I've just backed out of it. Point 3, Riley Terada hit a 3-run homer in the 8th inning as the Toronto Blue Jays defeated Canada's national baseball team 10-7 in a spring training game in Dunedin. First of 2 games for Canada before the upcoming World Baseball Classic. They play their first game on Saturday. Meanwhile, San Francisco ace Logan Webb will start on the mound for Team USA in their first World Baseball game Friday night against Brazil. Manager Mark DeRosa says reigning AL Cy Young Award winner Tarek Skubal is expected to start Saturday against Brinton. A little later on, we'll do our picks for tonight's NHL games. There are 5. It's brought to you by Pump Jack Steakhouse and Saloon. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. Point 4. March Madness is rightly lauded as the crown jewel of the college basketball season, but there's an argument to be made that the 2-week conference championship sprint, which began Monday, is just as exciting. 31 leagues, 361 teams, all chasing coveted automatic bids to the NCAA tournament. I'll mention it. I don't know how much we're going to get into it. We'll see. So worried about today. We're brought to you in part by Vegas.com. Save 50% off or more on the best Vegas shows this week, like Piano Man, a tribute show to Elton John and Billy Joel. Also Zombie Burlesque and The Vegas Show. Get your tickets today at Vegas.com. We're going to Ottawa next. We'll be talking a lot of National Hockey League, some NFL. We'll slip some CFL in there because this guy coming up can talk about it all. AJ Jakubec. We'll be right back. You're watching the RP Show across Nevada on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network, and as always, across Canada and 33 U.S. states right here on the Game Plus television network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world! Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world! Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Your teams, the biggest stories. Join Mike Davis and Mariah Janos live at 2 p.m. daily here on Silver State Sports as they tackle the biggest stories in Vegas sports. Okay, well, look at that. Beautiful Ottawa, and it is a beautiful town. Is that where we find you today, TSN Ottawa's AJ Jakubec?
Yeah, just in the heart of the glebe, making my way to TD Place in Lansdowne today to do the show with the Ottawa Charge playing tonight against Seattle. So looking, it's a beautiful day. I'm not a huge guy, but it's part of the deal here in Canada. As I told people today, it's like you can never predict how it's winter-wise, but I told the winterites, because there's like they're skidooing and they're skiing and they're snowing and tobogganing, and I'm not that guy. I told them, like Chris Neal told Tanner Glass back in the playoffs in 2017, your fun is done. You had your fun. You had your 2-3 months here. It's 6 degrees. It's the last day in the canal, which is fantastic, but it's time to turn the page. It's time for spring. Your fun is done.
Well, speaking of fun, hey, speaking of, I don't know if you're on Wi-Fi or not, but your connection's a little choppy, AJ. So if you're on Wi-Fi, I ask you to go off of it, because there you go. But you just got back from Anaheim. You're a guy that does not sit still very often, and I like that. You're similar to me. You saw the Oilers on the road. What did you see? How was your trip?
I went to 6 games in 6 days, 2 hockey, 3 basketball, 1 baseball. So it was good. Southern California, Northern California, 12 hours in Vegas. I know you got a big sponsor there, and yeah, great really enjoyed my 12 hours in Vegas, the Fremont Street experience especially. So, yeah, in terms of the Oilers, man, a frustrating watch this year because, it feels like they've got some pieces, but, something's just a little off. Whether, and it's not just goaltending. You can't just say, well, if the goaltending is good, everything's going to be fine. Defensively, team defense has not been good enough. So we'll see if Connor Murphy, he's not going to solve everything, but, maybe just the slotting is a little bit better. Kind of like when they brought in Ekholm a couple of years ago. And if he can calm things down a little bit, get Nurse and Wallman apart, get them both playing better hockey, that should help. But, that's a team with a lot of flaws, but we've seen that the last couple of years as well. They are one of the few teams that can outscore a lot of their flaws, and we saw that perfect example of that last night against the Senators.
Oh, no doubt about that. And by the way, your connection's perfect if you did anything. But let me ask you this about those Senators going into the season. I don't want to put you on the spot, but you're a hockey guy like me first, and I said, who's going to have more points, the Senators or the Canadians this year? And you're like, oh, Senators. That ain't the case, AJ. What's changed? Why do you think that they did? Have they fallen short of your expectations? They're not in a playoff spot today.
Well, they have, but yesterday's a priming of what's gone wrong this season. It's been, speaking of frustrating, they're last in the league in saves. They're last in the league in expected saves. So that's a big part of it, but I'm not going to blame everything, much like Edmonton, on the goaltending. Feels like they've got everything. They could use another scorer. They could use another top four right shot defenseman. It hasn't been the best season for Nick Jensen after he was really good and stable. There have been some lines. It just feels like something's missing at times, and I don't know.
Hang on, producer Corey. What are we going to do here? You're breaking up too bad, AJ. You're breaking up too bad. We haven't caught like the last 30 to 40 seconds of what you said. Producer Corey, are you there? Are you handy? What does AJ need to do? And while you do that, while you check into that, I'll read a few comments from the viewers here, and I feel like we've entirely lost AJ. There you are. Okay, we got you. We got you, AJ. Where are you exactly? I think I need you to either walk away from that or closer to that. Where are you?
I'm in the glebe, so I switched corners. That's going to help a little bit. Usually it's pretty good Wi-Fi here, pretty good here, but yeah, hopefully this is going to work. It's problematic in terms of just getting to work here today.
Yeah, no. Are you on Wi-Fi currently?
I am not.
Okay, good. Yeah, stay off of it. Stay off of it. So, anyways, I think I got your lowdown on the Ottawa Senators and how disappointing that they've been this season. So let me ask you this: leading up to the trade deadline, who are the teams you're watching the most, and who are the biggest? Have the biggest pieces been moved? Because I'm still waiting to hear the name Stamkos, Bobrovsky, guys like that.
Well, Bobrovsky is the big for me right now, especially. All their problems are and if you were able to get a Stanley Cup goaltender, the caliber of Bobrovsky, that would be fantastic for the Oilers. In Vegas, their thing hasn't been much better, and they're always looking to switch things up and upgrade if they've got some issues. So probably looking at the most when it comes to goaltending because Bobrovsky is, for me, the biggest name out there. We'll see if there's some hockey trades in the next few days. St. Louis is clearly a team that's looking to sell. Vancouver's a team that's looking to sell. But to me, it's that Bobrovsky move, if it happens in the next couple of days, that intrigues me the most.
Well, by the way, I just saw the Panthers have signed Louis Domingue on a 1-year deal for the rest of the season. So that tells me Bob's probably on the move. What's your read on that situation? Just the Panthers in general, and it looks like this run's going to end temporarily for the Cats.
I mean, it's a long road for anyone trying to make the playoffs just because, a couple of reasons. I mean, the Panthers have had a tough year. Obviously injuries, but, I think it goes beyond that. But, the flip side of that is you just look at playoffs in the East, and it's probably going to be in the high 90s because some of these teams they're not losing. The Boston Bruins, they're not losing games. Montreal, Buffalo, I mean, they're all rolling. Detroit as well. I mean, a couple of these teams, and getting back to Ottawa, I mean, that's why it's probably frustrating. You watch Ottawa play head-to-head against some of these teams, and they dominate, but they've just thrown away so many points this year, and we'll see. I mean, the underlying numbers tell you Ottawa's got a chance. I think Money Puck had them at 40%, which when you look at a team 6 points out at this stage, that would tell you that, it's long odds, but, we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, I mean, Bobrovsky is to me the most intriguing name. And I mean, while it just feels like that's something that's not going to happen with Edmonton, just because, I mean, the history of the last couple of years, and it feels like Vegas more than Edmonton to me, but that's just a gut feel, and I'm curious to see how that plays out.
Hang on a sec. You think Bob's going to go to Vegas? Can you explain what you just said?
Yeah, I think Vegas or Edmonton seem like the best bets. I mean, those teams are bottom 5 in the league in save percentage, and I think it hasn't been Bob's best year either, but I still think he's the caliber of goalie that can get either one of those teams over the top. I mean, Vegas hasn't beat a playoff team in regulation since November. So, that's a team that they need better goaltending. They need, some other things to start going their way. And the Oilers, again, it's not going to solve all their problems, but if you get a Stanley Cup caliber winning goaltender in there, I think it gives the group a little bit of a different dynamic, and maybe they'll start playing better defensively in front of them.
By the way, AJ, I got you scheduled for 10 more minutes, if that's okay, but let me just ask you, you said you were on your way to the rink for the Ottawa Charge game tonight. Are you broadcasting it? And explain the PWHL to our viewer. We don't cover it much here, but you're clearly very much into it.
Yeah, well, it's, they're a team that, when they sell out, they get 8,500 a game, and on a weeknight, they'll probably get 7,000. So it's been a team that's well supported here. I've enjoyed the hockey. I mean, I don't get into those culture wars about men's hockey versus women's hockey. I mean, it's different. I don't go to a women's game thinking I'm going to get the National Hockey League. I go thinking I'm going to see the best women in the world. So it's, I think they've been a great addition to our community. And, I'm worried about this league expanding too fast from a competitive balance standpoint, a goal scoring standpoint, because the goalies are so good, and you don't want to see 1-0, 2-1 games every night. But I think they've done a pretty good job with this league. They still have some things they need to improve on.
And he's gone. I warned him for the 10-minute mark of what we would have. Oh, man, it's usually not this much of a white-knuckle ride when we've got AJ Jakubec on the... I don't know about you all, but I'm in a cold sweat here right now. So, Producer Corey, I don't know if you need to throw up the RP Show logo, or what we're going to do. Let me dip back into the comments here. My guess, usually when the screen goes black like that, our guest has received a phone call or something like that. But anyways, Rich from Edmonton checks in. He says, AJ Jakubec, my brother from another mother. And goes on to say he didn't include the fact he dragged his better half to all those sporting events. Yeah, like I say, AJ and I have been friends for a very long time, going back to the Western Hockey League days. That's where we first met, and he's always on the go somewhere, in a way, sometimes very hard to keep track of. Case in point. I didn't even know that he's broadcasting Ottawa Charge games in the Professional Women's Hockey League. So there you go. 902-518-3033 is the text line number. I feel like AJ's gone for the day. And actually, thank you, David number 2 in Winnipeg, for checking in with, I said my picks have really sucked of late. They got easier for a while in the NHL, and now they've gotten really hard. I've been below 500 There he is. He's back. And now you're really clear. I don't know what that's all about. We won't keep you a whole lot longer, AJ. There you go. Now you're good. Now you're good. I don't know what the hell that was all about. But, hey, for your legion of fans, of which they're all writing in now from across Western Canada, they all know I don't want to blow your cover. I think you've been in Ottawa now longer. Have you been in Ottawa longer than you've been anywhere in your life?
No, Edmonton still. I think 20 years in Ottawa, 4 years in BC. So, yeah, I guess 26, 27 years in Edmonton. So, yeah, Edmonton and Ottawa pretty close. I mean, two places both very close to my heart.
Oh, now you're clear as a bell, so I don't know what the hell was going on before, but I don't want to let you get out of here.
By the way, I need to correct my buddy Rich. Like, what? I did not. That was a solo trip. I did not go to 6 games in 6 days with the missus.
Oh, you heard that? Oh, I thought we were going to get away with you not hearing that. Okay. Just the reason I bring that up, the Edmonton thing, is the Oilers. I mean, all day, every day, that's all they talk about in Northern Alberta and around the Oilers nation. And it's a little exhausting for me. I don't know how you find it. But, I mean, let's just think they're going to be in the playoffs. I mean, they might not. That's not even in the realm of scope of possibility that they miss the playoffs, is it?
Well, it is, but like I think they're going to be there, and like the one benefit they have this year, if they get there and start playing well, is just the division they're in. Like Utah's got to be licking their chops the way they're playing, going, that, and that's a different story altogether. Just the playoff format. How can you have the 1, 2, and 3 seeds essentially as they would be, all in one side of the bracket, with probably Minnesota getting Dallas in round 1 and the winner getting Colorado probably in round 2. So we'll see how it plays out. I don't get sick of it because I'm not there, but it's definitely like the one thing I know about going back to Edmonton is like when I grew up there, it was a great sports town. I'm not saying it's not a great sports town, but now it just feels like more of an Oilers town. And specifically as it relates to football, because, like the Eskimos, when I grew up there, is the tail end of the dynasty, Moon, Jim Germany, Brian Kelly, all those guys. And they were as big as the Oilers. And the Oilers had one of the best teams in hockey history at that time. So just to see that go downhill has been, a little bit disappointing. And they haven't helped themselves with, I know the name change has hurt. I know just not winning games and not winning home games has hurt. But I'd love to see them get back to a point in Edmonton where, and look, it's never going to be as big as the Oilers again, but where it's a big deal, where they're getting, and it doesn't even have to be 40,000 a game, getting 25,000 a game, and it's a big deal on an Edmonton Elks game day. So that's the one thing I would say to that, because we had AAA baseball and pro soccer and so many different things, and the Golden Bears and Pandas were always supported so well, and now it feels like it's the Oilers and everything else is supported okay, but there's nothing near the level of the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, I'm with you. I'm expecting them to be in the playoffs, and then from there, who knows? But just the anxiety of that fan base. I didn't say I got sick of it. I do find it exhausting. But, hey, I said I would ask you about the CFL before I let you go. It's the last question I'll ask you. Bold move by your Ottawa Redblacks of the Canadian Football League to hire Ryan Dinwiddie, the Boise State Bronco, the star of Elk Grove, California, as your coach, general manager, and offensive coordinator. Man, the guy's a winner. I can tell the city's fired up.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the fan base is fired up. Is the city fired up? I think they've got some work to do in that regard, and that means winning games. So they're gonna have to go out. Like, do I think it's gonna be sold out on opening night? I'd love to think that, but I feel like that's wishful thinking. Hopefully they can build some momentum early. They got a lot of early home games because of the World Cup, and Toronto and Vancouver are forced to play a lot of games on the road to start the year. I think they've improved at every position, but I've seen Ottawa do well in the offseason before and not turn it into regular season wins. So like this team, I mean, 5 of the last 6 years, they've won 4 games or less. So like that's a lot of really bad football. And I think, a lot of the fans here and a lot of the general public here is in wait and see mode. Hopefully they can jump on the bandwagon early, but it does feel between the coaching move, bringing in Jake Mayer as cover for Drew Brown, who's been good when he's healthy, but not great when he's not, whether he's playing at less than 100% or otherwise. Bolstered the O-line. I think they bolstered their skill position group and, made some changes on defense. So we'll see how it all shakes down. I still think, I'm predicting third in the East behind Montreal and Hamilton. Doesn't mean they can't move further than that, but they've got a lot of work to do because there's some good teams with, Montreal, Hamilton, and you look at the West, Edmonton should be better. Saskatchewan and BC are still really good. So this is not going to be easy just to make the playoffs, but that would be step one. They have to find a way to get into the playoffs this year and build the trust of this fan base once again.
Okay, we have 1 minute left with you. Your Washington Commanders, was that a blip 2 years ago or this last year?
Oh, it's a great question. I had high hopes for this past year. I thought they'd take a slight step back, but my goodness, they got a lot of holes. They got a lot of holes on the O-line, on defense. So, and they have a high first-round pick at number 7, but they don't have a second, and I don't think they have a third or a fourth either. So, yeah, they only have 2 picks in the first 4 rounds. They got a lot of work to do, but I do think they have the right quarterback. Just got to keep him healthy and Jaden Daniels. And I think they'll be better, but, man, there's some really good teams in the NFC. It feels like the power has shifted. The NFC is the better of the 2 conferences. It's surprising when you look at, the available quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and, of course, Mahomes on the other side.
Yeah, and then that NFC East, the Cowboys, we actually think we're going to do something this year because we do every year. Eagles are the Eagles, and the Giants now have a Harbaugh running the show, so that's not good. Okay, AJ, thanks for fitting us in. Enjoy the game tonight. I appreciate it, man. Good to see you.
Always a pleasure, Roddy. Take care.
From the national capital of Canada, AJ Jakubec joining us from TSN Ottawa with the God Shot as we say goodbye. We'll be back with a sports update right after this. You're watching the RP Show on Silver State Sports and Game Plus Television.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. www.ccpg.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, everybody, you're seeing again today, like every day, why this show is unlike any other. Thanks for making it part of your day on Game Plus Television and Silver State Sports. We can handle this up to the top of the hour just with sports updates. There's just so much going on. 6 games in the NBA tonight, including one in New York, where the Knicks will be aiming to boost their win streak to 4 straight when they host the defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder, who have also won 3 in a row. The Toronto Raptors, who lost 111-95 to the visiting Knicks last night, visit the Minnesota Timberwolves on Thursday. By the way, just speaking of New York, where the NBA game is tonight, for the viewers, can you help me out? I did book a trip to New York just yesterday, and I got Joe Lazzato. Maybe you're going to be disappointed in me, Joe. Both you and my advisor, Lisa, both said, don't go anywhere near Times Square. You don't want to go there. But that's where I booked for my own reasons. But the Florida Panthers are playing a doubleheader. Well, not a doubleheader, a double dip there at the end of March. Saturday at 1 o'clock against the Islanders, Sunday at 2 o'clock against the Rangers, or the other way around, whatever it is. And I booked a hotel in Times Square. Anybody that's watching, do I need to fear for my life? I don't feel, I've stayed there before. That's the biggest reason why I did. I got my intervention training there back in 2017. I didn't have a problem. It was just loud. I can handle that. Team USA dominated the San Francisco Giants in their first pre-World Baseball Classic tune-up, one of 15 games on Tuesday before MLB and WBC teams. They'll play another one today against the Rockies before heading to Houston for Friday's opener against Brazil. The Cardinals are set to release Kyler Murray, ending the former number 1 pick's tenure in Arizona after 7 seasons and just 1 trip to the playoffs. The talented but inconsistent quarterback, who is still owed $36.8 million, will get a fresh start somewhere this fall. And that is the poll question today for our friends at EMJ Marketing. Of the 4 soon-to-be available quarterbacks, who would you sign if you were looking for a QB? Kirk Cousins, Kyler Murray, Tua, or Geno Smith? Kyler Murray is leading the poll. So, hey, again, we say it on this show many, many times. Sometimes a change of scenery is just what the doctor ordered. Rich in Edmonton says, it's a gong show around there, Rod, but handy to go to MSG. That's kind of what I was thinking. Thanks for rallying, everybody, and making me feel a little better about my hotel choices. I will say this. It was funny. I went down there. I was 2016, 2017. To get training, to do interventions from the John Wayne of interventions. You've seen the TV show? We do it for real, and not a TV show. And my friend Mark Mueller, football guy, said, oh, you're going to New York. You going to go to a Yankees game, Mets game, or something fun? I'm like, no, I'm going there for work. And that's exactly what it was. It was 10, 12-hour days over 3 days of draining, exhaustive work because, as I say, sitting here talking sports every day, that's a walk in the bloody park. Try going into a room with a meth head and trying to convince him to come out with you. The far more parallel occupation to that is going into a pen of bulls. You come with me. 902-518-3033. New York. I'll survive, I'm sure. I've got this far. The sports update is brought to you by our friends at Ultimate Fan Zone. From jerseys to trading cards, Ultimate Fan Zone Sports Store is your fan cave headquarters. Visit them in store or click on over to ultimatefanzone.ca. I still haven't done the picks yet, and I feel like I'm going to do my quick six. Top five, bottom five. That's what I'm going to do. We have time to do that here. Oh, maybe we don't. My bad. Producer Corey saying we have less than a minute until we break. Hey, you got a big ending coming up in overtime next. I'll do my top five, bottom five, because we've been teasing it all show, and also tonight's NHL games, because there are five, including the Golden Knights at Detroit. Spoiler alert. I think I got to go with the Red Wings tonight. That is the game of the night. There ain't no way about that. No two ways about that. So hang on, everybody. And one last chance to get your questions and comments into me. 902-518-3033 on the Western Dodge text line or the YouTube chat. We'll be back in a jiff for the final segment. You're watching the RP Show across Nevada on Silver State Sports and daily right here on the Game Plus television network across Canada and 33 states. YouTube Live, podcast, and WQVZ Radio.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote your Rebel, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. All right, we're back for the final segment, brought to you by Overtime Hockey Lanes. It's appropriately called Overtime. If you're looking for the perfect place to perfect your shot, there's no better place than Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, now offering specialized shooting training. Don't get left behind. Look up Randy and Michelle at Overtime Hockey Lanes. Tell them the RP Show sent you. 28th Street Northeast, Calgary. As promised, the picks for Pump Jacks, Cathedral, Pump Jacks, Weyburn. Come early, stay late at the place where our friends meet. In the National Hockey League tonight, Leafs at Devils. As I said earlier, the Leafs, everybody beats them, and I think the Devils will again do. They looked very sharp last night, beating the Panthers 5-1. Vegas Golden Knights at Detroit. I'm sorry, Vegas, until they show otherwise, I don't think they're going to win tonight at Detroit. Both teams needing wins standings-wise. I got a Wings victory. Carolina at Vancouver. Literally, the season can't end fast enough for the Vancouver Canucks. It'll be a Carolina win. That's the lock of the night for Master Locks. St. Louis at Seattle. Definitely the Kraken. They're in quite a fight in the Pacific Division. And the Islanders at Anaheim. There's a sneaky good game. Both teams on a roll. I think I'll take the Ducks to win tonight, but that is a toughie for Matthew Schaefer and the New York Islanders. Top 5, bottom 5 in the NHL. Here you go. For the Ultimate Fan Zone, we do it every week. Here are your top 5. The Dallas Stars, number 1 team in the NHL. You're not going to find them in the betting odds, but they've won 10 in a row. They got Tyler Myers today, number 1 team, Dallas Stars. Number 2, the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're the OGs. If you don't know what that is, look it up. Even though they're stubbed their toe a little bit coming out of the Olympic break, they'll be fine, and they're looking to add. Number 3, Colorado. They've been great all year. A lot of people have them at number 1. I have them at number 3. Number 4, the Minnesota Wild, making moves, and they're not done. Number 4, Minnesota Wild. And number 5, the Vegas Golden Knights, just because we have faith they're going to pull a rabbit out of the hat ahead of Friday's trade deadline. They're my number 5 team in the NHL. To the bottom 5, which I find just as interesting. Number 28 is the Nashville Predators. They're actually 26th in the standings, but they're selling off pieces. They're done. 29, Calgary Flames. Sorry, I don't like saying it any more than you like hearing it, but the truth does hurt. Number 30, New York Rangers. Blow it up. It's just going to get worse. Number 31, the St. Louis Blues. It's just sad. And number 32, not as sad as the Vancouver Canucks, who are 32nd overall, minus 71 in goal differential. And while I thought that was bad, they got a long ways to go to catch the 1974-75 Washington Capitals, who were minus 265. Makes Vancouver's minus 71 look not that bad, but they're still terrible. So that's the top 5, bottom 5 for Ultimate Fan Zone. Your team, your colors, your gear. Get it all at Ultimate Fan Zone Sports Store and online at ultimatefanzone.ca. Of all the notes that I had written down, and we only got a couple of minutes left here in today's show. Let me just peek in on the comments here. Oh, Scott in Vancouver says, Bobrovsky might be getting moved. Really? 902-518-3033. Did I mention the Florida Panthers signing Louis Domingue on a 1-year deal? It's a longer, listen, if people are really into the Bobrovsky talk, Panthers and Lightning, we'll be going live at 3:30 Eastern on YouTube, streaming with the Cats and Bolts podcast, examining this all. We've talked about it enough here over the last couple of weeks. I might add, I think we were the first show to bring up the notion of Sergei Bobrovsky being moved like 3 weeks ago, but there's nothing heroic about it because I'll guarantee you Bill Zito, the Panthers GM, was talking about it at least 4, 5, 6 weeks ago. If you're a viewer and you write me outside show hours on social media, just consider yourself lucky if I get back to you, because I try to keep it within these 2 hours. Otherwise, I'll be on my phone the whole time, and I'm really trying to stay off social media because it's turned into a real toilet, especially Twitter. But a guy wrote me this morning. I woke up this morning, checked my phone, and had a gentleman, I got his name in my phone here somewhere, asking if the Flames should or will fire Ryan Huska. And it's not like the Flames are going to listen to me. It's not like they necessarily need any help at the top position. But Ryan Huska just signed an extension. He's an excellent coach. They're not firing him, nor should they. And if they overachieved last year, who should get credit for that? Because I can tell you who gets the blame if a team underachieves: the coach. So if a team overachieves, the coach should also get the credit. I'm not saying he's not. What I'm saying is he shouldn't be fired. And in the case of the Calgary Flames, when you have good people, which I know Ryan Huska is, and I hear Craig Conroy is, let them do their jobs and trust them. Yeah, we talk a lot of Oilers here. I could talk just as much Flames. We should probably talk more Jets, but right now that's a little depressing. But in Calgary, you know that I'm close with the Sutter family, but that whole Sutter dynamic really threw things off there, and everybody ended up getting fired. You just blew it up at the management level with Craig Conroy and Ryan Huska. So let them do their thing, because, again, they're good people, good hockey men that know what they're doing. Let them do what they're doing. So this isn't to Murray Edwards, who's probably watching right now, but on his yacht and the Mediterranean. It's to the fans that think Ryan Huska should be fired, because he should not. Brad Treliving didn't ruin the Flames and the Leafs. He just didn't save them. I'll say that for the third time today. Stan Bowman is not a disaster. He did sign a deal with Connor McDavid that made everybody happy. I just let Scruffy go. Have you noticed that? I just let him go. Doesn't mean I'm going to agree with him. He's a hot take machine. Jets need to look at themselves. I feel like we all know that. We covered it all today. Odd. And we got through the AJ interview. That one was stressful. Whew. Nice work, everybody. We'll do it all again tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in today. The RP Show on Silver State Sports and Game Plus TV.
That.